All right, I guess it's that time, isn't it? Yep, it's that time. Time to stream. Time to do some D&D planning. Time to I don't know what. It's been 2 days of blue fingernails, and I'm still not used to it. Just feeling them. I can feel the nail polish on my fingers. Or on my fingernails. Anyway. Alright. What the hell are we doing today? I genuinely have no idea what we're doing today. Although, with the with the conversation we've been having in our Discord, it's giving me some terrible ideas. Terrible ideas. One of them being cloud-based espionage, which is a whole thing. Rather interesting. And actually, I don't know why, but I'm gonna put that down as just a random note. Cloud-based. Hold on, I have to double check how autocorrect changed it because I don't know how to spell espionage. There we go. Cloud-based espionage. Cool. Well, we've just started. We can hang out a little bit. See if folks show up. If not, I mean, we do whatever. As always, our music of choice is the wonderful and amazing GameChops on YouTube. I like video game music remixes and covers and stuff, and they've got royalty-free stuff, so that's what we use. Oh, all right. Well, let's see. I was thinking about it. I was puzzling over what I wanted to do today. And I considered working on my normal campaign. And I almost went out and re-downloaded, because I know there's a program out there somewhere that I've downloaded before, but I almost went out and found it to download it and play around with it for dungeon mapping and stuff like that. And then decided, yay, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna worry about that today. Hell, in fact, what I might do is I might just get my camera set up in a way to where I can just have it hang out over my graph paper, and I'll just do that. I don't know. I can use a program that's not that bad. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. It feels. I don't know. I've done everything by hand with pencil and eraser and all that control, although it doesn't come out perfect. But nothing ever does. Nothing ever does come out perfect. I think we're gonna drop that just a little bit. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, we'll drop it right about there. See, now I can't make up my mind. That'll be fine. So yeah, I kind of flip-flop back and forth between doing that. And then while I was prepping for the stream today, I think I finally settled on just working on something else. Because I've found that I'm in a good place as far as all of my campaign prep goes. I need to work out a couple things, but we can do that next weekend, next Saturday. Because it's minor stuff. But then for today, I was like, okay, well, I need something. Well, I have this. Originally, I imagined it to be a one shot, and then as I thought about it more, I realized there's no way in hell it's going to be a one shot. And it would be this Gauntlet SOA Tower campaign, essentially. It would be a campaign because it would follow our players through 20 floors of a tower, a la, SOA style, with a little bit of a gauntlet twist. Because I played the arcade Gauntlet a lot when I was younger because I have it for my Sega Genesis. And because of that, and because I didn't have hardly any other games, I played that a lot. And I had fun with it. Not to say that I was any good at it, and I stuck mostly to the arcade mode and versus mode. Story mode was a whole other beast that I had never been able to tackle. Although I will say, I think I got about halfway through with one of the characters, maybe 3/4 of the way through, but I never made it to the very end. But that's fine because I know what's at the very end because I'd seen it done before. So, I like these things. I watched SOA. SAO. Oh man. I sat here thinking about it. I was like, that doesn't actually make any sense. SAO. I watched SAO. I enjoyed it. My first thought was, there's a game I wouldn't mind being stuck in. But that's because I'm that kind of a nerd. But yeah. I like the ideas of this, and I like the idea of an old-fashioned dungeon crawl. And a tower can be a dungeon crawl. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're moving vertically, whether it's up or down. It doesn't matter. And I mean, if you want to turn it into a legitimate, underground dungeon crawl, flip the damn thing upside down. Make it go down instead of up. Doesn't matter. But I like the idea of a tower. Something that stands over the landscape and is a monument to failure, I guess. Failure, but also a reminder of possibilities. That kind of thing. I'm also a big fan of Stephen King's Dark Tower series, which I've only read through once, so I need to read through it again. But the idea of a massive tower that is visible across all existence, essentially, is always appealing to me. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. So because I don't need to plan anything for my own like regular campaign, I want to get a little bit of this done. And where I am at with it is pretty much what you can see here, or what anybody can see here. I've got a tiny, minuscule introduction here, which can always be built on and should always be built on. And then I went through and I did floors 1 through 20. I've got it set up for, basic notes already on each floor: environment, boss fight, rewards. Because a la SAO, I want a big boss fight at the end of each floor in order for the players to progress. And then upon defeating each boss, they'd get a level up. That can be very, very difficult, or it will be very, very difficult, especially on floor 1, because we're talking about a party of level 1 adventurers that we would be pitting against a boss. And as we all know, level 1 adventurers don't get a whole lot of stuff. Level 1 adventurers get hardly anything, and they have very little health. Very little health. The wizard, if they're lucky, if there is a wizard, or a sorcerer, if they're lucky, they've got 8 health. They've got 8 health. Unless they specifically built to be really, really stocky, then they might have 9. 10 if they rolled really well. Really well. But generally, if they're lucky, they're going to have about 8. Hey, J-Rod, not a problem. Lurk away. And actually, whenever you are... I'll try to hang out in your stream today. Yeah, I'm still getting a bunch of stuff set up, but ideally I'll be able to repay the favor. And yes, feel free to grind away those points. But yeah, where was I? Oh yes, so boss fights at the end of every floor, right? And enjoy your spaceship to Mars, J-Ron. So boss fight on every single floor. Defeating the boss gets them a level up. This isn't gonna be the kind of situation where players are gonna be able to grind out, enough levels to be able to plow through the first half of the... Oh, Hump and Dump, welcome. Enjoy your covert mission for the president. And Val, hey, welcome. It's been a while. Glad you showed up. Yeah, folks are starting to filter in here. And Hump and Dump, if you are listening, it's fine. I'm not planning anything for our campaign. Although she may have it muted. But yeah, so my gauntlet SAO style dungeon delve tower climb, whichever you want. Like I said before, it doesn't matter. It's vertical. Up or down is completely up to the DM and how they want to flavor it. I like towers because I like something visible. I like something that's, something that's gonna tower over the players as they approach it. That kind of thing. And actually, I started to flavor it as a spire. So it may not even be a full, fat tower. It may just be like a needle. A space needle, almost. Just a spike raising up out of the ground with a door at the very bottom. No windows. Nothing. And then once inside, it's, bigger on the inside. Val, hear you out. Wenwolves. The ghost of werewolves lost in time. Long since dead, yet still not born. Wenwolves. So... hold on. The ghost of werewolves lost in time. That's... interesting. So my question for you, Val, is, and I might steal this actually. My question for you, Val, is this: what makes a wenwolf turn? and I love that you put the H in werewolves. Oh Jesus, and our Discord is off the rails. But yeah, that would be the thing. Although the way you spelled werewolf implies that they only turn into a werewolf, or they only take on their lycanthrope form under certain locations. But if you're gonna do werewolves and wenwolves, why not throw in what wolves and why wolves and who wolves? Maybe there's a lycanthrope that only turns into their lycanthrope form when they're around a specific person or a specific type of person, and then they're the who wolf. I do like the idea of ghost werewolves though. I also like the idea of werewolves being lost in time, kind of just popping in and out of existence. They turn not from moonlight, which can be covered by clouds, but by the time the moon would be full. Oh, okay. So, here's a question. What do you consider the moon being full looking like? Because to us, the moon being full simply means that the sun and the moon are at the correct angles aligned with the Earth to where we're able to see most, if not all, of the surface of the moon that the sun is shining on. But technically, unless the Earth is in the way, there's always a lit side of the moon. So would they be werewolves that are always in lycanthrope form until the planet blocks the sunlight from the moon, and then they get those brief moments of humanity back before being thrust back into their vicious lycanthrope form? I kind of like that. I like that flavor, actually. It takes 27 days, 7 hours, and 43 minutes for our moon to complete one full orbit around Earth. Let's say 6 hours continuous hours during that time. Okay. So it's less about if the moon is full, but more about the alignment of the moon, sun, and Earth. Because then, if that's true, they'd be more like, oh god. Then they would be werewolves, because it would depend on where these celestial bodies are in space. And time is a made-up concept. Time isn't real. Time's not real. The only reason we have time is because we have light. That's it. Or, yeah. No, sorry. The only reason we're able to measure time is because we have light. And gravity. and then we're getting into like physics and different gravitational and light theories and stuff like that. Yeah, alignment. You need coffee if you can't think of that word. So then they wouldn't be when wolves, they would be werewolves. I guess they could still be when wolves but then all wolves are when wolves. Because the when would just be the variable of, turn into lycanthrope at this time. And this time could literally be anything. This time could be when the planets are aligned, or this time could be when they're near a specific person. And it's less about the when and more about the what or who or where. Fun fact, the speed of light is actually the speed of causality. I know nothing about that. Right now, I don't even know what that means. But cool, fun fact. I'm going to spit that at people and have no idea what I'm saying. Oh, God. All right, I need to get my Genesis hooked up to my capture card somehow. Because I think I want to spend a day just playing Sega Genesis games. So, werewolves. Lycanthropes, whether they're when wolves, werewolves, why wolves, who wolves, what wolves, their wolves, yes. Werewolves, their wolves, exactly. Concerned Whale Productions. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. But they don't have to be wolves, right? Just lycanthropes in general. Lycanthropes cover wolves, bears, rats, owls. Screw it. Let's make were-rabbits. There are were-tigers. You want to were-ostrich? Great. We have were-ostriches. Or were-emus. You like were-bears personally. Strahd has ravens. True. Very true. Nothing like a little gnome that's been turned into a were-raven. Or God, a Goliath that's been turned into a were-raven. Be a big ass bird. But yeah, don't ever hold you back. Lichen. Oh God, a lichen. I like it. I would liken it to a creation by the demon. I can't remember if they're demon princes or demon lords. It doesn't matter. The big mushroomy demon lady. Zugtmoy, I think, could definitely be a creation of hers. It's theirs. I don't know their pronouns. Wizards doesn't include pronouns in the books. But could definitely be a creation of theirs. Lichen are such weird moss-like things. Yeah, I mean, so if you wanna go like real off the rails with it, a lichen. I don't know how much time you've spent outside just looking at trees, but a lichen could be anything from like hanging mosses to the normal green moss that you'd see on like a roof or on the ground, all the way to the flaky white stuff that grows on trees. It's real flat, but still lichen. Technically, anything. Oh, I almost said fungus. Oh, they're not fungus, are they? Are lichens fungus? You got me Googling this now. Are lichens fungi? Hey, look at that. Second option on Google, because my Google autocompletes are not screwed up like many other people's. Let's see. Lichens are this is from the www.fs.fed.us. Oh yeah, it's the USDA Forest Service website. Cool. Lichens are a complex life form that is a symbiotic partnership of two separate organisms, a fungi and an algae, which I'm guessing is just algae. The dominant partner is the fungus, which gives the lichen the majority of its characteristics, from its thallus shape to its fruiting body. So hold on. Many lichens will have both types of algae. Interesting. Hey, I'm learning stuff. We're learning stuff. So lichens are a mix of fungi and algae. So yeah, it could be the mushroomy demon lord. So a lichen, a were-lichen would be maybe plant life, living plant life, or screw it, why not just sentient plant life or non-sentient plant life that was infected. A leshy? I don't know what a leshy is. But it could be just like a sentient plant being, like a blight or maybe a woodwode or anything like that. Leshy are plant people in Pathfinder. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. A leshy that was infected with fungi spores that cause it to go a little feral at certain points in the day or anything like that. Or just at night, actually. When you learn more from D&D streams than the History Channel. We don't watch the History Channel around here unless it's late at night and we are drunk or high, because that's when the ancient alien stuff is actually entertaining. Until then, no, screw that. And also, watch National Geographic, not the History Channel. Watch PBS, not the History Channel. That's the best way to watch it, exactly. Although they have reused so many things, yeah, they really do. They really do. But yes, so I like this. And you know what? So I played Guild Wars 2. I played a little bit of the first Guild Wars, but I played Guild Wars 2 for years. I originally played it on release for about 2 months, and then I quit. And life lesson there: don't ever let friends convince you to play games with them when they have a history of playing a game for a couple weeks and then quitting. Played it for a couple months on release, and then after that, I think I went about 2 years without playing. And then I picked it back up again, and it was... I think I played for about 3 years, and I played into the first expansion. So maybe I put it down for more than 2 years. But... The plant people. Oh, now I can't remember their name because I want to say like Sylvari. I want to say Sylvari, but I don't know if that's correct. Those are great, and I'm surprised that Wizards hasn't put any like plant people in. Like published any plant people in 5e yet. None that I've seen anyway. Make the players traverse a Mobius strip dungeon. There'd be like 4 points during that campaign where they're just like, haven't we been here before? Oh, a Mobius strip dungeon is a good trap. Not playable. You feel like it would have been good for Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah. But yeah, so I like it. A lichen, a were lichen. Hold up, this is going in my random notes too. a where lichen, plant person infected by spores. We'll say only active at night. And I say this because plants sleep. Plants do sleep. Plants go into a kind of hibernation mode at night when the sun goes down. They can tell. And they actually switch their bodies from creating, or they switch their structures and switch their operations from creating oxygen to consuming oxygen and creating carbon dioxide. So, because of that, because we know that plants sleep, we can also say that the fungus that is infecting the plant person becomes active at that point as well. Because I believe a lot of fungi become active at night. It doesn't matter. In my world, they become active at night. So we have this weird situation where you could have an entire population of these leshies or various plant people. They're all infected, but during the day everything's fine. It's when everybody's like, okay, well, we're gonna go into our hibernation cycle for the night, and the players are up late and they watch as all these plant people kind of like power down, and then suddenly they power back up, but it's not them. It's all where lichens. Not a whole lot would change. Maybe there would be some more fungus growth that would recede once they were waking up. So it remained somewhat hidden at night. So you could make it work, kind of like a werewolf. Only active during eclipses on a planet with 3 moons. Yeah, that's another thing. So in my world, and I do have to, I need to work on this. I've been meaning to work on this. I need to work on a couple things. I need to work on my calendar, and I need to work on my moon cycles. And in my world, I have 2 moons, which complicates things, because technically, there's multiple full moons throughout a month on my calendar. And my calendar months are 45 days long, I think. I have my calendar right here. Yeah, 45, 46 on the months where the equinoxes and solstices would be. Which, fun fact, this equates out to 364 days in a year. Which means that we could petition for an 8-month calendar. And we could probably get it. Or shit, petition for a 10-month calendar. And each month has, or it alternates between 37 and 36 days in a month. Let's get rid of this weird, like, February has 28, January is 31, March 31, and then we're back to 30, and then it kind of like alternates, and it's a mess. It's a mess. We need a better calendar. IRL. And I need to fill out my calendar in-game. Our current calendar is off every 10,000 years, you think? Yeah, that sounds about right. It slowly but surely gets out of line. Yeah, but by like what, a day? I think, because that's what leap years are for. They're there to keep the calendar in line by a few seconds each year. Yeah, so after like 10,000 years, we're off by a day. And at that point, somebody's going to go, oh, well, this year it's a leap year, but it's an extra leap year. Or we have 2 leap years in a row to make up for the couple of seconds every year for 10,000 years. The leap year keeps it from being off every 1,000 years. Yeah, and you know what? When it comes down to it, they will. They'll go, if people are still around at that point, they'll go, you know what? Nope. We're adding another day to this year because apparently we've accrued interest on our calendar. Val, fun game. The year is 1969. I already don't like this. A rocket is launched into space. Suddenly, Neil Armstrong starts growing hair as he steps out of the ship, but nobody can see it through the suit. Yeah, that raises another question. And here, let me pose this question. Is it truly just the fact that there is a full moon that causes werewolves? Or is it the existence of the moon in the sky? Or is it the alignment of celestial bodies that causes a werewolf? Or is it simply that perfect amount of light that is given off by the moon during a full moon? Because if that's the case, like there's a lot of possibilities here. A lot of possibilities. The alignment thing, it's like, okay, yes, it has to be a full moon. It absolutely has to be a full moon werewolf. Fine. Clearly where things are just absorbing Lutz waves through their tails. I don't know what those waves are. I don't know what those waves are. You're gonna make me Google it. Let me Google it. Lutz waves. Oh. The brutes? This is not... Okay. See, I didn't watch DBZ when I was younger. My parents made me play outside. I didn't get to stay inside where all my friends were. But yes, sure. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities there. It's never actually been... Nobody's ever actually delved into the science behind lycanthropes and what makes them turn. Which is kind of nice, because then you can kind of just say, well, this is what makes them turn. And I didn't fully read the Blutz waves thing, but what that could be is just whatever reflected light is coming back from the moon. Maybe the moon has some sort of property that absorbs various wavelengths of the light, and then the rest of the light that's reflected, those specific light wavelengths are what cause a lycanthrope to turn. But they also need a specific amount, which is only available during a full moon. But then that requires a very specific composition of a moon. You couldn't have an ice moon do the same thing, unless I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there. We could go on for, oh god, I could probably go on for weeks talking about all the things that would actually turn somebody into a werewolf, turn somebody to their lycanthrope form. Yeah, just because there's so many options. It really does. Everything that anybody's ever written about in any fiction, nobody's, as far as I know, and if you know better, prove me wrong, please. I love learning. But as far as I know, nobody's ever actually delved into the sciences and specifically what turns them. Although I do know some I can't cite what material it's from, but I do know that some werewolves have the ability to turn on their own and don't necessarily need a full moon or any trigger. That makes them a little more, or a little less bestial, though. Plot twist, lycanthrope changeling that only changes when suffering from a nightmare. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Yeah, there's another thing. What if it has nothing to do with the moon itself? What if it's all psychological? What if it's all psychological? And it's not... Oh, what if lycanthrope transformations are all psychological, but nobody realizes it? So it's not the moon. It's not any moon. It's just the idea that a full moon will change somebody who's been infected into their lycanthrope form. So technically, all were creatures would have the ability to change anytime they wanted. But the vast majority are stuck in their ways, and they still believe that it's the moon. It's the moon that does it. So when they see a full moon, they freak out, and suddenly they start changing because they don't realize they have control over it. And it's all psychological. But that also means that in their dreams, if they dream about a full moon, they can transform in their sleep, which would likely wake them up and send them on a rampage, which could cause a mystery as to, like, especially in a world that is full of people that fully believe this full moon myth, that could cause a great mystery as to how the hell is there a werewolf during a new moon? There's no moon. How did we have a werewolf problem? Val, what if everybody is a lycanthrope but society has forgotten, and it's the post-bite fear that causes it? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What if there's this psychological link to it? And I like that idea. Oh, I like that idea. That is great. Because then it's not a virus, it's just a trait among all people. Oh, that's good. Okay, so we could write up a really, really great, like, werewolf mystery campaign with these ideas. And Angry Meatball, how's it going? Thanks for showing up. It's a subconscious or instinctual trigger, like moths flying towards light bulbs. Exactly. We could write probably one of the best werewolf fiction stories. I say fiction. Do I need to specify fiction? Probably. We could write one of the best werewolf mystery stories with this information. Oh, this is really good. This is really good. Lycanthrope transformation is psychological. Not based on moon, but based on fear. Of the full moon? Ish. I don't know how I tapped an E in there. Val scientist. So I built this moon-shaped nightlight for your children. Oh man, see, there's another thing. So what if it is this society? I like this idea of a whole society that's gone lycanthrope and they forgot about it, and it's a willing transformation, or it's an instinctual transformation. which can always be trained to be a willing thing. But it's an entire society that, out of fear of the full moon, it's not just the werewolves that fear the full moon, but it's everyone. Everyone that fears the full moon and what it brings. They hide every full moon where they can't see it, where the full moon's light can't reach them. Not because they worry that it'll turn them into werewolves, but maybe they worry that it'll bring werewolves to them. Because werewolves roam wherever a full moon's light shines. Oh, that's really good. Oh, that's really good. Oh, that's really, really good. I'm going to have a bunch of lycanthrope notes here. Angry Meatball. Scientific alternative. The phases of the moon are caused by the moon's orbit tilting in and out of the path of light between the Earth and the Sun. A full moon results when the moon is not obstructing that path at all. Between the Earth and the Sun. Hold on. So, if we have... I don't have anything to, like, simulate. Oh, I guess I could pull up paint. Let's pull up paint. If it ever works. Okay, so, yeah, this works. We'll just do this. So the way you explained it, the cause of lycanthropic transformation is the Earth being bombarded completely by something in the sun's rays. Oh, okay. So, hold on. But then that would mean that on a regular sunny day, without something blocking part of it at different parts of the month. So are you talking about in a world where you've got, say, the Earth here, and I know the Earth looks like a potato. You've got the sun here, yeah, and then the moon just kind of like hovers somewhere in this space most of the time? And I'm a great artist, I know. The transformation is a seizure. Moonlight flashes faster than the human eye can process. Wait, hold on. Val, are you saying the moon is a disco ball? Is that what you're implying? Because that could cause a lot of problems. Yes, alright. Strobe light disco ball. Yeah, if you can find a diagram or something. And no, I don't want to save that. I know it's a great piece. Lycanthrope society that doesn't know they are lichens. Deep-rooted fear of the full moon and what it brings. I.e. werewolves. Hide away every full moon to avoid the light. Actually, I'm gonna say cursed light. Just adding in curses is always good. Why did I draw a butt farting, by the way? Because that was my son. In the same way that a butt releases gases, the sun releases flashes of plasma and gases and solar winds. Is that a good enough explanation for you? I pulled it out of my ass. Hide away every full moon to avoid the cursed light. Those fearful. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it there. It's not great. I could build on that a lot more. I'd have to write a whole page on this prompt. Oh, Angry Beanball, if you want to just message it to me, the general lunar cycle. If you want to message it to me, because I have links turned off in my chat. Okay. Maybe I should turn that back on. I don't think I've had any instance where anybody's tried to really spam my chat with a bunch of links. Let's see. Moon orbit. Ooh. So, okay, and I'll drag this over so we can look at it. So, you have this image of the sun's rays, and actually, let's pull it up real close. So, you have this image of the sun's rays, Earth, and the moon. But the way that you explained it is that the sun's rays unobstructed would be what turns what turns a lycanthrope. But that would mean that just during the day lycanthropes would be roaming around. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, because I think earlier on, and now I don't remember what the trigger was, but earlier on we mentioned lycanthropes that were they were werewolves for more time than they were their humanoid counterpart, which can create a rather sad story. Val, legend says the full moon used to be mating season until these monsters came out. In actuality, it started as a way to scare the children, but society as a whole fell for it. Ooh, yeah. Angry Meatball. So in this theory, the full moon would just happen to coincide with a monthly period where a person had absorbed enough solar radiation dated. Oh, so okay. Solar powered werewolves. Love it. Or, cosmic whatever. Yeah. Solar powered werewolves. Interesting. So would it be like a surplus of vitamin D? So, like, these people that are werewolves, if they drink enough whole milk, they end up changing early. Oh, actually, I kind of like that. Actually, I kind of like that idea. I like that theory that it's... You're trying to think of some reason that the moon would be a complete coincidence. Yeah, because there's a little bit of an issue with that. And it's the exposure to the sun. It's the exposure to the sunlight. Because if they are a person that spends, even a day fully inside away from the sun, then all of a sudden that cycle is now a day off. And it would be, they'd turn the day after a full moon. Or they'd turn 2 days after or a week after a full moon. And then eventually they're turning on a half moon and then a new moon. And they could literally turn during the day. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just raising the point that it complicates it a little bit, assuming it's only visible or UV light. Right, but I mean, let's say there's a coal miner lycanthrope or a coal miner werewolf, and he spends his days in the mines. The moon is a gravitational lens warping light from the nearby galaxy toward Earth. Or a gravitational lens. Oh. Oh. That has roots. I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit. I raised my computer chair and now I'm like, I don't know exactly where I need to sit now. The gravitational lens thing actually has some rooting in physics, and I always like being able to explain stuff using actual science instead of just going, no, it happens because magic. Which, nothing wrong with that. I just like being able to explain stuff. The sun gives off gamma and X-rays as well. Yes, but gamma and X-rays don't penetrate past a certain point, depending on the material. But they don't penetrate past a certain point. And if they're getting absorbed, they no longer get reflected. Because you could make the case that, oh, well, gamma and X-rays, they're getting reflected off of various surfaces, but eventually those reflections are going to subside as they get absorbed. This could all be magic. No. I like this. I love this. I love the bouncing ideas back and forth. And I'm not trying to ruin a good time or anything like that. I'm very much a type of person who I actively try to poke holes in various theories and ideas, not to destroy them, not to destroy the ideas, but to help make them stronger. Does this mean werewolves can choose between lead poisoning or transformation with X-ray or gamma ray overdose? That's a good question. That's a really good question. But yeah, I like to be able to poke holes in stuff. I like to poke holes in stuff so we can patch those holes up with more information. Hulk is a werewolf confirmed. Absolutely. He's a gamma lycanthrope. Why not? Fuck it. Why wouldn't he be? All right, now we're going to have a debate. Is the Hulk a werewolf? Sure, he doesn't turn with the moon, but he turns with anger. Could the Hulk be considered a werewolf? But then I guess you have to ask, what technically makes a werewolf? Is a werewolf... Does a werewolf have to be tied to the moon? And then does a werewolf or any lycanthrope have to be something humanoid that turns into something how do I put this? How do I say this? Does it have to be a humanoid that turns into a monstrous animal? I think that's the best way I could put it. Where second person singular, past plural, past and past subjunctive of be. Wolf No, I need you to explain wolf for me, Val. I don't understand what wolf means. Okay. So werewolf is literally they are a wolf, or they become a wolf? No mention of moon. Yeah, true. True. But then what? Okay, so technically, we're not focusing just on werewolves because we've already established that there are multiple different types of lycanthropes. So we need to look at lycanthropes. What does lycanthrope mean? Angry Meatball, while there have been stories for thousands of years of people who can transform into animals, the story that gave rise to the werewolf originally had nothing to do with the moon. Ah, see? Yeah, were means human in most work. Thank you, Concerned Whale. The beast of... I'm gonna butcher this name. Gavaden was never even a man. Yeah, so I guess we just need to know what it means. I mean, if we're being really, really specific, Hulk is not a werewolf because he doesn't turn into a wolf. But he would be a Jevudon? Jevudon. Oh, okay. Neat. Lycanthrope comes from Greek meaning roughly wolf human. Oh, Jevudon is French. Neat. Oh, thank you for thank you for sharing the original Greek, Concerned Whale. I can definitely read that. Actually, I think I can. Oh, I see how it actually comes together. The lycan, and then that must be their letter for the TH. Neat. Okay, so if lycanthrope just means wolf human, Lycanthropos? Neat. Thanks for the pronunciation guide. Okay, so hold on. If lycanthrope means wolf human, it's interchangeable with werewolf. But I had assumed, well, I guess there's no, okay. So outside of Wizards of the Coast and D&D, have there ever been any historical, not historical, but have there ever been any mentions of people turning into other creatures, not wolves? There have to be. There's always been myths and legends of people turning into eagles and ravens and cats and like lions and stuff like that. So what do we call them? What do we call them? Because I'm okay. Now I'm not. We're learning. We're learning. Concerned Whale, maybe not as a curse, but yeah, a lot of mystical creatures have the ability to turn into humans. Exactly. Angry Meatball says they generally fall into the category of shapeshifters, beastmen, or tricksters. Yeah. Okay. So here's a question. What makes a werewolf not a shapeshifter, beastman, or trickster? Or is werewolf / lycanthrope a subcategory of those three, or one of those three? They are. We just have a word for it. Okay. So we just have a word for it. We just have a word for it. Which means werewolf, werebear, weretiger, were-raven, were-mouse, were-rat, were-squirrel, were-raccoon. They all fit. They all work. So do we call them... to generalize, do we call them shapeshifters or beastmen? Tricksters, I think sounds more along the lines of like fae and gods and stuff like that. But shapeshifters and beastmen, I think, would fit better. Oh god. Yeah. The story of the... Hold on. Concerned whale. In theory, you could call a werebear an ursathrop. Okay, that was another thing. Like, what part of lycanthrope means which and what? So if lycan is wolf, then yeah, ursathrop for bear. What, like, I don't know what you'd call a raven. Is there scientific name, like, isn't it corvid or something like that? So maybe a corvidthrope. The story of the beast of Gévaudan is fairly recent. 1740s or so, during the reign of Louis XIV. Neat. There's a series of animal attacks in a French province that lasted about 4 years, resulting in the deaths of between 100 and 300 people, depending on the sources. Wait, hold on. Is the Beast of Gévaudan, like, is this a historical account? Is this actually, like, is this a real occurrence? Not saying that, you know, it was a werewolf. Yeah, it is. Oh, neat. Okay, so we're looking at like cattle mutilations and murderings around that time. I guess it technically could have just been a really big wolf. Could have been a really big wolf. I don't know if you've watched Beauty and the Beast, but the wolves, technically Beauty and the Beast, French story. So the wolves in that story, pretty big and pretty mean looking. Concerned whale, thrope as a suffix roughly means that which turns into. That which turns into. Oh, okay. So technically a lycanthrope doesn't have to be a human, right? It could be a household dog that survived a werewolf attack, but it's now infected and it turns into a werewolf. See, this is why I do this. Because learning this stuff is so interesting, and it helps with all of this building. Because now I think with this stupid like campaign thing idea that I have with the 20 towers, technically, or 20 floors, technically 21 because there has to be a top floor. No, 20 floors. I might make a werewolf floor. I might make a werewolf floor with all of this information. That would be awesome. Angry Meatball, the survivors claim to have seen a wolf the size of a horse with blood red eyes, and hunters who went after it said that when they shot it, their 50 caliber balls bounced off its side, doing no damage. One boy was in the woods with his father and claimed that the wolf stood on its hind legs and called out to him in his father's voice. His father was found slaughtered in the woods. Holy hell, that's brutal. Oh, I actually kind of got chills from that. Eyewitness accounts, huh? Interesting. I could probably sit here and theorize on what it was all day long. Same with like Mothman sightings and Sasquatch or what's the one down in Florida that smells like a skunk? Or the chupacabra. I could speculate all day on what it could have been, but I mean, just that mental image is Florida man. No. It's actually, I think it's called the skunk ape. down in Florida and Louisiana and out in those areas. But yeah, I mean, Florida man's pretty dangerous as well. Unfortunately, Florida man is real, so we have to fear that even more. You have the Rougarou in Louisiana. Oh yeah. So I've watched Supernatural through multiple times. Remind me, the Rougarou is the one. Well, I guess it's just a flesh-eating thing, isn't it? Essentially a werewolf. Yeah. Yeah. Fun stuff. Man, werewolves. Werewolves are terrifying, aren't they? Just like that idea. And if anybody's curious about a 50 cal, like how big a 50 caliber round is, they are, because I used to, I've got a whole history, but I used to sell guns for Walmart. I used to work in their sporting goods section, and I would sell firearms. And at one point, we got black powder guns that fired 50 caliber balls. I think those balls were roughly about that big. So if you're curious, that's about what a 50 caliber is ish. Might be a little too big. Might be about right. I don't remember. I think. Yeah, I think about that big. About that big. Seems about right. Angry Meatball, the attacks finally stopped after a local hunter melted down his silver cross into a handful of bullets, had them blessed with holy water, and shot a beast twice when it charged him after he joined a group to hunt it. Interesting. So what? Okay. So if they actually found a beast, shot and killed it, what happened to the corpse? It's supposed to have been more than 200 pounds and was wearing the tough hide of a boar like it was armor. Interesting. Good old Walmart selling guns at the same place you get your hot dogs. Yeah. I have stories from working at Walmart, and I'll tell you, don't ever work for Walmart. And I have no want or desire to ever be sponsored by them or anything like that. Just don't work at Walmart. But man, I have stories. I met some great people while I was there. Not just coworkers, but customers. Like, actually, I think I met more awesome customers than I met coworkers. But yeah, I've got stories, and somebody remind me in another stream, and I'll talk about that. But that way we don't go too off the rails. But yeah, now Angry Meatball, I want to know about the corpse. King Louis XIV had a corpse stuffed and mounted at one point, but it might not have been the beast. Oh, interesting. So 200 pounds isn't big. 200 pounds is not big. It's big for a dog. It's really big for a dog. So it may have been a wolf. To say that it was wearing the tough hide of a boar. And I know it's an old story, old historical account. It may not be as detailed as I would like it, because I mean, obviously I have questions, but like, I would want to know, was the hide removable? Like, was it actually wearing a boar's hide? Or was it so thick-skinned and bristly it felt like a boar's hide? You had read that a modern speculation was that it was a hybrid of a wolf and a mastiff someone had let loose. Ooh. Yeah, that could be. There's a Wikipedia article about it. Oh man, I think I might read that during while I'm over at my friend's house today. Because it's Saturday, it's D&D day. However, we're doing our every first and third Saturdays are our D&D game days. That way we can get like board games and video games and stuff in. But I might read about that while I'm over there today, because now I'm super interested. And now okay, now I do want to do a werewolf floor. I want to do a werewolf floor. I have no idea which floor is going to be a werewolf floor. I'm going to put a note down here though. Werewolf floor. So not to pull away from the conversation or anything. But some of the things I want to have set up for all of this is I don't want to have a whole lot of shops throughout this tower. I don't want it to be like, oh, there's civilization on every single floor. Maybe there's a village or two at certain points throughout the floor. Maybe there's some ancient adventurer that actually made it higher up in the floors and he has a little cottage somewhere. He might be able to help the NPCs or the players out there. But generally, I kind of want to just have them out on their own. I kind of want it to be a full-on survival dungeon, which means either everything that they need in order to fully equip themselves eventually, or even, magic items and stuff like that, would either need to be found in the game or crafted. And it's tough. It's tough. Crafting stuff is one of those things where it's like, if you want it to be a thing that the players have to do, they have to actually roll for finding materials, and then they have to roll for putting it all together, and so on and so forth. And usually, if you go by the books, if you go by like the DMG, crafting stuff takes time. Crafting stuff takes a lot of time. And I don't know if I'd actually want to do that. I've had players be like, yeah, okay, I want to craft this thing. I want to make this really awesome thing. I actually had a player once, and he doesn't play with us anymore. I had a player once play a ranger, and he wanted to craft a bow while he was traveling, and I was like, okay, well, how much time are you going to be putting into this? Is this something that you're going to be putting your entire day towards? He's like, yes, I'm going to do it over the entire day. I was like, okay. And I had him roll for materials and, then roll to craft it. And he wasn't too happy when his super rushed bow didn't come out as a +1 magic bow. I was like, great, this bow is actually really crappy. It's got a -1 to it. I was like, it's bad. It's really bad. Because you don't have... your character doesn't have experience with this. Their character doesn't do that all that often. But I'd hate to have other people do that. Item crafting in D&D is difficult when you don't have a lot of downtime. And I guess technically, if the players really wanted to, they could have as much downtime as they wanted in this campaign. Again, it's largely inspired by SAO. And if you watched it, you know that there was huge time jumps. Because those people were in that game for months. If not longer. I don't fully remember. Anyway, I don't know if I'd want to include rules on that. And actually, I think I have some. Do I have crafting rules put up here? I have self-training proficiencies, which is always good to have, because I do fully believe in letting players train their characters in different things. That way they're not just completely stuck in whatever proficiencies their class and backgrounds give them. Or race. But let's see, weather information, potential names, item pages. Do I have creation here? I have enchanting items. I don't have actual, like, item creation rules. My enchanting items one actually, what was it? What were my rules here? Concerned, well, yeah, D&D has a problem where you don't really feel like you grow stronger much, except at a few key levels. Yeah. So I like to have different things, especially with the self-training proficiency thing. Like, sure, there's stats. If you want to increase your stats, you're gonna have to work really hard on it. And I do put a limit on it, so my players aren't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna train for a week in this proficiency, and then the next week I'll train in this skill proficiency, and so on and so forth. It's more like, no, you can only gain like one a year in game or anything like that, or something like that. I actually don't remember the rules. Oh god, yeah. There's a whole bunch of this, and actually, this is not mine. I took this from a Reddit post, right there. So I can't take credit for any of this. But it worked so well that I was like, oh, this will be great. And yeah, somewhere in here it says, oh yeah, limits by your intelligence modifier. I think it limits based on time as well, somewhere in there. Anyway, yeah, giving the players a way to grow outside of just leveling up is always good. I don't have a method of crafting anything though. I have a method for enchanting stuff, and what it is although this is really this isn't super in depth. Basic material costs, spell levels. What did I do? I think what it actually is depending on, or this was a way to enchant items with spells or effects that were similar to spells. And you had to do it with like so many casts of the spell within a certain time period. And if you burned up higher level spell slots, you would complete it a bit faster. And then your basic material costs for like the materials that you'd need to enchant the, thing. But then you'd also need specific, very, very specific materials to achieve the actual enchantment. Stuff to make it a little more magic-y, stuff to make it a little more interesting. It's like powdered blood. Blood you can get. Powdered blood, maybe a little bit more difficult. Platinum foil, like gold foil, but platinum. Fulgurite or liquid amethyst, like liquefying a gemstone, pretty difficult. Finding raw natural fulgurite, really difficult, unless you know a place. Silvered hag's eye, giant's marrow, sphinx hair, elemental heartstone, celestial tears, heart of a fiend, so on and so forth. What can you make with these things? So, like I mentioned, it depends on what you wanted to do. It depends on what kind of effect you wanted to put on an item. And I would equate them to spells that are in the book as just a reference. Just a reference. So, like, if somebody wanted to make a flaming sword, I'd probably equate it to just, like, adding the firebolt spell onto the sword, or I'm sure there is a flaming sword spell somewhere in the book. But I'd make it similar, and depending on what damage or what the effect was, find a similar spell somewhere that you can equate it to. And then depending on what level that spell is, you'd have to cast that spell so many times across so many days while burning up the materials for the spell that would equate to this rough basic material cost. So if you wanted to, like, if somebody really wanted to burn, a wish spell into a ring and make it a ring of wish that could cast wish every, 7 days, yeah, they'd have to go and cast wish 30 times on the ring before 30 days ended and spend 100,000 gold. So you have that time component. You have a material cost in it, not just in money, but also in the spell slots. Because I wanted it to be tolling. I wanted it to take its toll on the players. This also means that creating a minor magic item, which would be like spell level 1, 20 casts of a spell across all your spell slots, you could probably get it done in a day or two. And it only costs 100 gold, and you'd need the powdered blood, but that also makes it so higher level magic users can enchant smaller minor magic items a lot faster, as opposed to the higher, more powerful magic items. Also, I don't know why you'd cast wish. Well, no, because you can't wish for more wishes, right? So you can't just cast wish to wish for a wish ring. Elemental weapon, yeah. So these are only rules for magic item crafting, nothing for non-casters. That's the thing. That's the thing. And that's why we're here right now. Is I have these rules, and they're rough, they're basic. I tried to make them a little more interesting with like the Enchanter's Focus items that would get burned up when they created each item. And you can see for like level 8 and level 9, the Enchanter's Focus would be spell specific, and for level 9 it would be spell specific and have to be under a very specific condition in order to achieve that level of magic item. But so I have these rules, but for basic crafting stuff, I don't have anything. Unless you're asking for magic crafting for non-casters. My thinking behind that was you'd have to be familiar with magic in order to be able to create magic items, right? Because what you're doing when you're creating a magic item is you're pouring magic into the item. You're actually enchanting it. So a basic barbarian isn't actually going to be out there creating a whole lot of magic items. That said, I technically do have a rule to where anybody can create a magic item, but no, you do mean more mundane things, but things that still have utility. Yeah, see, I don't have any rules for that, because when it comes down to crafting like a short sword or a longbow or anything like that, more often than not, the time and materials that go into creating those things, as well as whatever proficiencies there are, is there nothing in the DMG? I don't. Let me grab the DMG and I'll check. I will check, but generally, I think the only crafting stuff in the DMG is for magical stuff. Blinding powder, non-magical arrows that deal different elements of damage. See, that's another thing. And I actually have a page, my loaded ammunition. Here's my non-magical arrows that I've actually let my players use, or I've let my ranger use. Those are my non-magical arrows. Let me grab the DMG. Let me see if there's something in there for crafting mundane items. Okay. There's basic rules in Xanathar's. Like, not even a page, just checked your copy on Beyond. Yeah, so they really don't. Because, and I mean, it's fair. It's because more often than not, when you're playing D&D, you're going to be playing in a game where you have civilization. You have NPCs that are already creating these mundane items, and you can just go out and buy them, or you can find them. You can pick up a short sword on literally any bandit or goblin or anything. It's just, yeah, it states you just need tools to make certain types of items. Exactly. I don't think it says anything about time that it takes. I don't think it says anything about what specific materials you would need. And I mean, and then you're going real specific. Like, you know, is there actually going to be a difference between an iron sword and a steel sword? In reality, yes, absolutely, there is. That iron sword is going to be heavier than the steel sword. The steel sword is probably going to cut, you know, into the iron sword. Because I think iron is softer than steel. Not by a lot, but by enough. But then you have to go, okay, well, you know, what kind of materials? How steel is harder and stronger than steel. I don't think that's right, Angry Meatball. Steel is harder and stronger than iron? Yes, okay. Yeah, so, you know, the iron's going to be heavier, the steel's going to be stronger and lighter, so obviously you're going to want steel. But then are you going to make your players go out and pick up some iron ore and then find some carbon in whatever form, whether it's charcoal from the campfire or whatever? Oh, you're fine, Angry Meatball. You're fine. You know, are you going to make them go through all these steps, or are you just going to go, okay, well, you know, you gather all the materials you need to make steel, you know, and then at what point, like, are you gonna do we include proficiencies for doing these crafting? Well, yeah, I guess you would, because you'd want proficiency with the various tools. Where is my... Oh, God. I don't know where it is. I'm going to pull up this website real quick. Yeah, there's smithing tools. So obviously there should be smithing tool proficiency. But would you... I guess for the ease of the players, and to make it a little more player-friendly, we could just say that proficiency with smithing tools also means proficiency with a smelter and proficiency with a I can't remember all the things, but in your experience, you need glass blowing tools for the special trick arrows. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, crafting even mundane items requires so much involved. There's so much involved. I guess just as a DM, I just have to be a little more flexible and just be like, you know what, we're gonna have a couple things cover blanket areas, right? Crucible, yes, thank you. You think smithing tools includes a crucible and an anvil and everything? Yeah, so it should. Concerned whale, yes, but you also need to think about access to it. Yeah, so it's Like, nobody's going to be carrying a crucible around in their backpack. Nobody's going to be carrying an anvil around in their backpack. And adventurers are adventurers. They're out moving about, doing all this stuff. Unless you really want to let them use a big boulder as an anvil. But generally, I think that would result in a curved blade. Or something looking rather wonky. I don't know. There's basic rules in the DMG for magic item crafting and potion crafting. And I don't like them. But there's absolutely nothing for mundane item crafting that I've ever seen. Smith's Tools does not list exactly what it comes with, but it weighs 8 pounds. Yeah, and I mean, again, like I would say, like Angry Meatball said, I would rule that if you have proficiency with smithing tools, you have proficiency with a crucible, you have proficiency with an anvil, you have proficiency with all of that. 5e's bad about this in general. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, it's one of those things. Mundane item creation was kind of tossed to the side. And I mean, the game's not about crafting. The game's not about creating stuff. The game's about adventuring. So I can't blame them for that. I really can't. If you have a character or you have a player that they want their character to be a crafter, generally they're going to settle down in a town where they can get all the stuff that they need to do that crafting. And they're not going to be an adventurer anymore. It's why people should play other games to steal from them if you need it. Yeah, that's very true. Mix and match whatever you need to do. Steal rules from other tabletop games, so on and so forth. But you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to make a separate page. Oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. We'll do this. There we go. Mundane item creation. Get rid of this because I don't care. Spending time making spell scrolls or items used to be a decent part of 3.5. Yeah. Oh god, and I guess I technically don't have rules for creating spell scrolls. Oof. There's a lot. If we wanted to get real into it, there's a lot that we could do. There's rules for it in the books. Is there? I'll have to look. Again, I've read the player's handbook so many times, not cover to cover, but just bouncing all over the place. But the DMG, I've only read, a handful of bits and pieces because I never wanted to be completely tied down by everything that was in the book. I wanted to use it as reference for ideas that I ever needed. You've never read any TTRPG book cover to cover? Yeah, nobody should. Nobody should. They're not meant to be read that way. Just find it when planning. Exactly. It's the way it should be. Okay, so let's talk. I need your guys' help with this. Because if we're gonna do this, let's create something that everybody can use, that everybody can be generally happy with. We're gonna create a skeleton. We might throw some meat on it, but all the finer details we'll leave up to future DMs and everybody else. Because when I'm creating tools, I want to create tools that are still fairly basic. not super in-depth, because I believe that more basic tools allow more creativity when using them. So, with this mundane item creation, do we specify first, should we specify categories of item creation? Like, should we go through blacksmithing, woodworking, tailoring, leatherworking, all of that stuff, glass blowing? Or should we just generalize it? You have to AFK. Not a problem, Angry Meatball. I have nothing wrong with my AFK lurkers. Yes, to an extent. Yes, to an extent. Okay. So, to what extent? Or should we generalize it? Weapon versus other things. Okay. We'll do weapons. I'm not going to type other things. Should we specify armor? Or would we let our blacksmith be able to create? See, that's the thing. I don't think we can specify weapons. I don't think we can specify weapons, because weapons can be, a wooden quarterstaff. Shit, it could be a metal quarterstaff. They could be a wooden sword or a metal sword. It could be nunchucks or a dagger. We're not going to lump in a longbow creation with the same creation method as a longsword, right? Equipment is one category. Armor, weapons, and shields. Okay, so we could do that. We could just separate it by categories. Similar roles, but different check. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that real quick. I'm gonna hold on. I like tables. Tables are super helpful. I'm just gonna create a quick 5x5 table. And we're gonna go if I can spell it right. Weapons, armor. How do you spell shields? I before E. Shields. Weapon, armor, shields. Let's say, should we have potions and poisons as a second one? And here's something that I'm sure everybody could argue over. I don't believe potions have to be magical. I think they would just have unique ingredients that produce magical effects. I wouldn't consider alchemy and potion potion and poison creation to be a magic-based creation method. Potions, poisons. We'll just leave it at that. Doesn't matter, magic or not. Maybe magic is a bit stronger. Maybe. Or maybe it's just a different method. Maybe it's just a different method of creation. Because, is a healing potion made through magical means going to be any better than a healing potion made through, 11 different herbs and spices? we're gonna have fried chicken flavored healing potions in my game. Okay, so weapons, armor, shields, potions, poisons. We'll mess with this and get it all figured out. Is this? Hold on. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Minor healing, chicken leg, or chicken breast of great healing. Chicken wing of minor healing. A drumstick of healing. chicken breast of greater healing. Oh god. What would the, I guess, chicken gizzards of supreme healing? You have to eat the heart and the liver. That's how you get your supreme healing. Okay, so armor, weapons, armor, shields, potions, poisons. Welcome to KBP, Kentucky Boiled Potions. Hold on. Can we make that? I like KBP. I kind of want KFP. Can we change KFC to be something weird? Yeah, we can. Easy. KFC, Kentucky Fried Concoctions. That's it. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do is Kentucky Fried Concoctions. KFC. Okay, so we have weapons, armor, shields. You're adding that to your Starfinder campaign? Go for it. Go for it. Use it. I love it. So we have weapons, armor, shields. We have potions, poisons. Do we want to increase? Do we want to include? So okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is kind of where I'm getting stuck, because we're lumping weapons, armor, shields all in one, regardless of material. That's the thing. That's the thing that's bugging me. Is are we gonna lump in? I feel like we should. I feel like we should go by creation method rather than what each thing is, because so I would say somebody that's able to create metal weapons is also going to be able to create metal armor, and they're also going to be able to create metal tools. You don't specify in, working only weapons, armor, shields, but then you're not able to make pitons and stuff like that. Right? Like, does that make sense? That's kind of where I'm getting stuck, because I was about to say, what about like bag creation, backpacks, clothing, stuff like that? Well, that can fall under clothing, or split metal and wood. Well, then you also have cloth and leather. So technically you have metal creation, wood creation, leather creation, cloth creation, and then potions and poisons. And then we could have glass blowing in there, because you're gonna need bottles and whatnot. But maybe we include glass blowing in with the potions and poisons, because I think that's the only place where it'd really be useful. Tailoring, sewing, you feel could be the same with leather and fabric? Yeah, they absolutely could. Making leather is different than sewing it together, you feel. Yeah. I mean, actual leather creation. Well, hold on. Let me see here. So we're gonna do metal. We're gonna do wood. We're gonna do glass blowing is for trick arrows. Oh no, I completely agree with you, Angry Meatball. I'm just trying to figure out, are we gonna separate glass blowing from you need to deliver a gas or a liquid to a target, glass bubble arrowhead? Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Woo! Excuse me. I guess I'm tired. No, I completely agree. Although I think I did flavor my my loaded ammunition as being like very, very thin metal or like rather fragile stone arrowheads that have been hollowed out. But yeah, really anything that shatters, and glass is definitely a good one. As long as it's not whatever that super indestructible water drop shape is. But yeah, so would we separate glass blowing from all the other creation methods? Although I suppose we could always give glass blowing to We'll have to think about it. Okay. And if you don't agree with anything that I put down, please let me know. I'm going to insert a couple more rows. I'm going to put leatherworking. Actually, no, I'm just going to put leather. I'm going to put cloth. I'm going to put glass blowing. Yeah, so wait, hold on. This looks good. Oh yeah, this looks good. This looks really good. Because what we can do, since we're doing a table, since I love tables, armor, shields, potions / poisons. So, making, I think I'm just gonna kind of fill in a little bit. Blacksmithing. Blacksmithing would be able to achieve metal weapons and metal armor and metal shields. Woodworking, or I'll just put woodworking. There, like, we could go carpentry, but I think technically carpentry is like building. I have a name. I have an actual name for something. Is it in RNA? No, maybe it's in the Feywild. Maybe it's in Eltril. All the fun woodwrights. That's what they are. Woodwrights. Okay. They're not, I mean, they are woodworkers, but they're woodwrights. So creating wood weapons would be the job of a woodwright. Wood armor. That's not a thing, is it? Carpenter. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I think woodworker is a broad term. A woodwright specifically crafts things out of wood, whereas a carpenter is more creating structures out of wood and buildings and stuff like that. Not that it matters at all. Not that it matters at all. Wooden armor can be used, it just doesn't last long. Yeah. Okay. We'll put that in. We'll put woodwright in for armor. That's gonna be interesting though, because I can picture wooden armor. Plates, splints, that sort of thing. Exactly. I can picture wooden armor. It's not great. It doesn't have as much coverage as metal armor or leather armor. But it's there. It's more like just reinforcement. It's protective plates over specific body parts. Never anywhere near any of the joints, because wood, I mean, kind of similar to metal. It doesn't flex. I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna say if you're making wood armor, you need very specific materials. Wouldn't you? Like you'd want you're not gonna be using any pine to make wooden armor. You're not gonna be using soft woods. You're gonna go for hardwoods or even enchanted woods. They're gonna be more durable. Leather. I don't know what do you call somebody that does leather work? I guess just leather workers. Leather workers can't really. Well, I guess technically, you know what? Here's the thing. A tanner, yeah. Here's the thing. I almost said a leather worker can't make weapons. Technically, a leather worker could make a whip. You're not gonna have a leather sword. You're not gonna have a leather bow. You're not gonna have a. Be careful, please. A whip or a blackjack. Yeah. I'm gonna. That's okay. Whoops. We'll put that in. We could definitely make leather armor. Not really leather shields, though. Not really leather shields. I can't think of any instance where anybody would have an actual separate, like, plate or bowl or anything like that strictly made of leather. Typically, if there is leather involved, it's leather stretched over wood or metal or something like that. So I'm gonna say no on the shields. I'm gonna say no cloth weapons, but sure, cloth armor. We also have. We need more columns. Okay. We need more columns. Because we have other mundane items beyond weapons, armor, shields, potions, poisons. We have clothes. We have tools. We have bags. / backpacks. Oh, and here's another thing. Harvesting materials. Harvesting materials. I think whatever you have proficiency in, you're also going to be able to have proficiency in gathering the materials for that skill. So like if you have blacksmithing proficiency, you're also going to have proficiency in mining and collecting. Change bags to containers. Okay. I could do that. But I'd say that a blacksmith would also have, generally, no. In real life, no. But for a game, I'm going to say a blacksmith also has proficiency in mining and gathering ores and stuff like that. Same with like a woodwright having proficiency in, lumberjacking and stuff like that. Are you okay? All right, kid. Bags. Containers. Whoops. Yeah. Can I? Okay. Yes. Change bags to containers. Did that. That works because now we can have the clothier work there. The woodwright can work there. God, I guess the blacksmith could work there as well. Leather worker could work there as well. Clothier. Obviously, clothes. Here's the thing. This definitely feels like, I guess this section doesn't matter too much across the blacksmith through leatherworker. But then over here, blacksmith definitely has a lot more utility. Oh, but I guess everything they would make would create, or would weigh a lot more. So this would be, this tower campaign would definitely have to be one where you have to watch your carry weight and stuff like that. Weight versus durability. Yeah, true. Encumbrance should be a mechanic for this. Absolutely. I'm just gonna put, how'd you spell that? Encumbrance needed. Yeah, we'll just put that. Versus cost. Yeah, so I guess blacksmithing would have a lot more utility, but it's gonna cost a lot more. Yeah, you're right. It's more time and labor intensive. It's gonna be heavier. Would be more durable, but yeah. Okay, so pros and cons. Good. And we'll work on pros and cons for all of those as well. I think right now, this table specifically is just figuring out what jobs, what proficiencies we'd actually want for these. Let's see. What do you call a glass blower? What do you call a glass blower? I don't know. Might just be glass blower? Yeah. Let me Google it. What is a glass blower called? I don't know. Glass blowing. A person who blows glass is called a glass blower. Wow. Glassmith. Ooh. Or gaffer. I like glassmith. Sounds fancy, but we'll go glass blower. That way we don't mix anything up. We don't confuse anybody. So, are we gonna say that glassmith might be more fantasy? Yeah. All right. I'm sold. Oh no. All right, glassmith. So, hold on. I shouldn't include glassmith here. I shouldn't include glassmith there. I'm going to put alchemist down. Whoa, in not all caps. Alchemist, probably not going to be able to do that. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know what to put here. Herbs and spices. I'll figure out exactly what I'm going to put there. Oh, geez. I don't know what is wrong with my fingers today. Alchemist. There. I don't want this to say glass blowing. I just want it to say glass. What am I thinking of? It's not herbs and spices. What are the things that alchemists use? Ingredients, but not ingredients. Ingredients is general. I want, like, reagents. Yes. Perfect. Reagents. Wonderful. And then we're going to do food. Because why not? Why not? You should always have cook in there. Unless your party wants to live off of barbecued meats that are, I mean, pretty much just that. Cooked over an open fire. So at this point, an alchemist is gonna need potions and poisons. Wood. Are we gonna lump in like Fletchers and Boyers in with the woodwright? I think we should. Just to make it a little bit simpler. I don't want to have too much. Yeah, avoid overcomplication. Yeah. So maybe this is about where we stand. Can we have wooden tools? If this table looks incomplete, or you think something should be added somewhere else within here, please let me know. Otherwise, I think we've got our materials over here. So metal, wood, leather, cloth, glass, reagents, and then food. And then we've got different classes of item. Weapons, armor, shields. Should shields go in with... No, they shouldn't. Weapons, armor, shields, potions, poisons. Clothes, tools, containers, backpacks. I think that looks good. If you guys think of any other column we should add, let me know. If you think any of these empty spots should be filled in with something else, like if you find a way to, if you think glass should be included for... Should we include glassmith for weapons? I don't know if we should. Yeah, I'm going to put glassmith in for weapons. Not like axes or anything like that. I think it would definitely... It's very niche, yeah. Glass weapons would be cool, but I'm not talking like glass hammers or anything. I'm talking glass daggers. And maybe a monster needs a certain type of enchanted glass. Maybe. But I'm thinking more like obsidian arrowheads that Native Americans use. Or, oh god, they had obsidian knives too. Like, they actively used volcanic glass as tools and weapons. You know what? I'm going to put glassmith in for tools as well. Just kind of like a thing. I'd like to see it filled out a little bit more. But yeah. So if you guys disagree with anything or think anything in here should be changed, let me know. And we'll kind of go over it and see where the holes are. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm gonna do another table. How many is that? 7? So 8. I want 3 by 8. And I mean, I can always change it. We're gonna have a pros cons table for each of these. So blacksmith, woodwright, leather worker, clothier, glassmith, alchemist, and cook. Angry Meatball, there was a bit part in a fantasy novel you'd read years ago. A wizard had discovered a spell to make glass as durable as steel, but never did anything with it and thought it was worthless. And a group of adventurers basically slapped him silly. See, like, I like that idea. I do. I like that idea. And again, it's gonna be like, we can put an asterisk on this if we really need to, just like I did with the armor for the woodwright, because I think you would need very, very specific materials to do certain things. But at that point, you're talking more magical stuff. You're talking more magical things. I want to kind of stick with just mundane item creation. Very, very mundane. Nothing supernatural, nothing magical. We're not using any special materials. Not to say that there wouldn't be special materials to be found out in the world, but you know, if the players had a group of 3 blacksmiths and a leather worker and they came across some enchanted glass on their adventure, well, I mean, somebody should have probably been a glassmith. And it's fine to include stuff in your campaigns and in your games that the players just can't interact with because they don't meet the need. As long as it doesn't stop them from progressing. So including stuff that, oh, they could have used if they were this thing, it's fine. Because it's just saying that, oh, there are people out in the world that would have used this thing. You're just not them. But it has literally, little impact on you because you'll likely find something just as good or better later on. Oh. Okay, so blacksmith, pros, durable. Heavy. Woodwright. I'm just gonna put splinters. I need pros and cons for all of these. Because I want to make sure that it's balanced. Again, I'd hate to... Just because blacksmithing is more applicable across the entire spectrum, I don't want a team of blacksmiths coming into the game. Pros, lightweight and affordable. For which one, Angry Meatball? Wood? It could be lightweight. If it's... Well, yeah, you'd want it dried. You're not going to use fresh wood. As opposed to metal. True. Lightweight. Affordable. Mats. Mats easy to come by. Typically. Okay. We need cons for the wood. I'll think of stuff. Glassmith, lightweight, mats, Hold on. I'm going to say easily portable. Yeah, I'll say easily portable-ish. We could do the same with the Alchemist. And I mean, in real life... Oh, yeah, actually. I'd say just in general, wood stuff couldn't be repaired generally. It's just easier to remake a thing. Exactly. You break a thing, you need to start over. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think there should be a whole lot of cons for the stuff that has less use. So we definitely did go most used to least used, didn't we? Because blacksmith's at what, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1? That's not bad. Let's say materials can be hard to find, too. Because, I mean, as a blacksmith, you'd have to go mining. You'd have to go hunting down ores. You'd have to be able to recognize what ores are going to be available in various areas. So, blacksmithing materials should be harder to find. They should probably be the hardest to find. You'd have to mine or bring it into the blacksmith. Yeah. Well, I mean, ideally, the blacksmith is going to be able to refine the ores himself. That's kind of this whole thing. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, getting real old. But yeah, I'd say they're hard to find. It can be expensive to get them. You need a lot of knowledge. Yeah. Lightweight tools. Oh, that's another thing. We'll say lightweight tools for these. Because we want to increase... Woodwright would have lightweight tools, but maybe not lightweight mats. Cons, heavy mats, heavy creations. We'll say... I don't know why I put splinters there. I guess just to have something. Heavy mats. Wood, well, wood... I guess it depends on the wood. Although, wood plates wouldn't be too heavy, so the creations themselves wouldn't be heavy. Long creation time. I think I'd say long creation time for the woodwright too. Glassmith. Oh, cook. Fast creation time. Yeah, maybe that. Because I'd say for the clothier, glassmith, and alchemist, they don't have long creation times, but they don't have fast ones either. Because a cook, you can make something in, an hour. Make something really good in an hour. However, the alchemist, glassmith, clothier, it might take them a few hours, maybe even an entire day. A blacksmith, it might take them a couple days to do what they're doing. The woodwright, maybe 2 days? So longer creation times? I don't know about the leather worker, though. I don't know about the leather worker. I think tools are going to be a negative for blacksmith as well. No. I'm not going to do that. Hold on. Okay, player's handbook. I'm gonna look at the actual, like, stats and stuff on the tools in here. Nope, I went too far. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Weapons, I don't care. No, not the adventuring. Where is it? There we go, tools. Okay. They have a lot of tools listed here, like alchemist supplies, brewer's supplies, calligrapher's supplies, carpenter's tools, cartographer's tools, cobbler's tools, cook's utensils, so on and so forth. Oh yeah, it just says glass blowers. Man, wizards, you really, like... You really missed out. Could have called them glassmith's tools. Would have sounded way more interesting. Considered, well, there are more tools than you'll ever need. True. And you know what? Right now, I think we only really care about 7. So, let's see. Smith's tools. 8 pounds. Really? 8 pounds for Smith's tools? Considering they'd need, like, tongs and hammers and all kinds of stuff. What about wood? Wood carver's tools, 5 pounds. Leather workers, 5 pounds. Clothier. Weaver's tools, maybe. Right? Cobblers are shoemakers, aren't they? These aren't meant to be realistic. Most are around 5 to 8, you think? Yeah, that's true. I'm using it as kind of a base, like a baseline. Not for sure what we're doing, but just kind of a baseline. So we'll say weaver's tools, 5 pounds. Yeah, that's not bad. I did leatherworkers, 5. Glass blowers, 5. Super light. Alchemist supplies, 8. I guess that does make sense. Oh, and cook's utensils, 8. Yeah. Okay. So they list 50 feet of hemp rope as 10 pounds. I think they're talking about, like, real big, heavy rope. When they talk rope, they're not talking about the regular, like, cord that we can go get from, you know, any store now. They're talking about old heavy duty rope when they list it as 10 pounds. But okay, let's think of this. Let's think of this. Because I wrote in lightweight tools, I wrote in heavy tools, so on and so forth. 50 feet of chain hardly weighs 10 pounds. It depends on the chain. That's the thing. So they mentioned 50 feet of hemp rope as being 10 pounds, but they don't mention the diameter of the rope. This could be really, really thick, heavy rope. Just like, sure, 50 feet of chain could weigh 2 pounds or less if you're talking like jewelry chain, or if you want huge anchor chain. 50 feet of anchor chain is going to weigh a lot more than 10 pounds. It all depends. It all depends. They don't specify in the book, so we use it as a rough guide. And again, it depends on the material. Because, I mean, steel chain is going to weigh less than iron chain. Aluminum chain is going to weigh a lot less than iron chain. Yeah, it all depends. So let's think of tools. And actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll create another column and I'll just put tool weight. And we won't include this. We're not going to include the tool weight in either pro or con. It's just going to be a thing that they have to deal with. You're just saying that there's no justification for these weights. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let's think about what blacksmith tools they would need. Let's think about what tools they're all actually going to need to do these jobs. Blacksmith tools, they're going to need tongs. They're going to need metal tongs to be able to manipulate the hot metal. They're going to need a hammer. They are going to need probably leathers to keep themselves safe from getting burned or anything like that. Because tools aren't just going to be what's in their hand. It's going to have to include what they're wearing and all of that stuff. I would say the tool weight for a blacksmith is going to be high. I'm going to say it's going to be a high weight. If you disagree, let me know. And feel free to justify. I might need 2 different kinds of hammer of different shapes. Exactly. Blacksmith is going to be real, like, tool intensive. Really tool intensive. Whereas if we go down to the glassmith, let's talk about what a glassmith actually needs. Not materials, just the tools. They need their glass blowing pipe. They need, I think, a set of metal tongs. Leathers to protect themselves. A crucible. Yeah, I'm not including the crucible in in this stuff right now. Because the crucible is gonna be a thing. And you know what? Maybe we'll do this. We'll add another column. And we'll label it as station. And that way we can say this will be a yes or no column. Does each of these jobs need a station in order to do the job? So the blacksmith is going to need an anvil. They're going to need a crucible. They're going to need a furnace or whatever. You can have a small enough crucible to travel with. That's true. They're heavy still. And I don't know if you could carry a crucible around small enough that would be able to produce enough hot metal to form like a full like chest piece if you were making plate armor. I don't know. There's questions. There's a lot of questions. But yes, you're right. You could have a crucible that's small enough to travel with. You do several ingots. Yeah. But I mean, generally, if you're pouring into a mold, or you're trying to create a rather large ingot, yeah, it's a lot of space. Hey, Nightlore, how's it going? It just has to fit into a fire. True. Very true. Very true. So what I'm thinking, if I can finish my thought on this station yes or no column, what I'm thinking is what this will be is not necessarily that they need a specific location that they always have to return to, but are they able to just get into the work, or do they need to set up a bunch of stuff in order to do it and make sure that they have everything there? Sorry you weren't on lately. Hey, don't worry about it, Nightlore. We've all got our own lives. We all do our own thing. I just appreciate you showing up when you do. So not to say that we wouldn't be able to magic in an anvil. Maybe give a blacksmith a magic portable anvil and portable crucible and all of that. But it would definitely have to be a situation where they'd have to set things up. I'm gonna do yes on that. And if this is a bad idea, we'll take a look at it once I'm done like filling it out, and then we'll see. Nightlore. Thank you, Nightlore, for supporting me as much as you have. Redeeming the thank you with eye contact. Okay. So yeah, if this is a terrible idea, we'll delete it afterwards. I'm trying to expand, and I don't want it to be super complicated. But that quick? Yeah, that quick. 100 points isn't a lot. If you want something more lasting, save up your points and paint my nails, or save up your points and dye my hair. God, I don't want it to be too complicated. Ooh, I don't want it to be too complicated. Oh, see, now I'm stuck. Because technically, if I went through and I did this, blacksmith is going to need some form of a station. The woodwright, maybe not. Because really they just need... you thought it would take more than 10 seconds for it to be shown to me. Oh, no. I mean, I'm watching my chat, so I can see when those go through all the time. I mean, technically, I guess it depends on how large the piece is, but technically a woodwright would be able to just kind of sit down anywhere with their tools. So I'm going to say no. A leather worker, if they're actually tanning hides and leathers and stuff like that, they do need a station. But if they're just putting pieces together, they don't necessarily do. I don't know. Nobody but us chickens. I don't know. Alchemist would, yes, because they'd have to set up all their stuff. I'd say a cook, no, because generally a cook, as long as they have their tools. Yeah, do they need anything outside of their tools? That's what the question is. Outside of their basic hand tools and worn tools. I'd say a glassmith would, because they need a way to actually heat up the whatever material they're using to turn into glass. Alchemist would, because pretty much the alchemist pretty much solely uses a station. Okay. So, tool weight is going to be high for the blacksmith, because if we have to include an anvil and a crucible and all of that, tool weight's going to be high. And we're not listing stuff. Because ideally what we're going to do is we're going to go, if somebody does go with one of these, they're going to go, okay, well, we're going to say they have everything they need to be able to achieve this. It's not going to be a situation where it's like, oh, well, where's your anvil? Did you bring a 400-pound anvil with you on your adventure? No, we're not going to do that. We want to make it a little bit easier on them, right? So we will just give them, as always, we'll give them that. We'll give them that. We don't want to complicate it too much. We want to try to keep it simple while in depth. We want it to be something that the players can actually, like, not spend an entire session on, but just be one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I want to take, 2 minutes at the table to roll and see if I can create this and how long it's going to create, or how long it's going to take, or make progress on this thing that I'm working on. Because again, this is not a game where everybody's crafting. That's all that anybody ever does. We're not just constantly creating mundane items. We are wanting to give them an option in game to be able to create these things, but the focus isn't on this. Right? So, for the woodwright tools are going to be knives. They're going to be like planes. They're going to be chisels, stuff like that. All of that, actually, all made of metal. However, still relatively small. Maybe a wooden mallet as well to go along with it all. I'd say tool weight would be kind of medium. We're going to do a low, medium, high scale. So I'm going to say medium on that. Because they're not going to need to carry around a crucible. They're not going to need an anvil. But the tools that they are going to need are still going to be metal, and there's going to be quite a few of them. Leatherworker, though. Did I say no on that? I'm going to say... Ooh. I'm going to say yes. With an asterisk. Leatherworker tools. I don't know, actually. Clothier, I'm going to say low. For tool weight. Tool weight, I'm going to say low, not material weight. Glassmith, I'll say low. Alchemist, I'm going to say medium. And cook, I'm going to say low. I genuinely don't know about the leatherworker, though. Because I don't know enough about what tools they need to do their job. And to justify why I chose what I did on those, for the cook, I'm saying low because generally, they don't need a whole lot. A good cook doesn't need a whole kitchen full of utensils. They have a few basic ones that they rely on, you know, spoon, spatula, knife, and you can pretty much do a whole lot with just that. The heavier stuff is where you started to include like pots and pans and stuff like that. But if we say that the cook has kind of just one all-purpose, like deep pan, you can get away with a lot with just that. I mean, when I've cooked, especially recently, I've tried to stick with doing like one pot meals and stuff like that. It's definitely doable, and you can get a lot of stuff in it with cooked meats, and then with pastas and sauces, and do all of this stuff. You really can do all of it in one pot, and it comes out really, really well. I mean, shit, I made a penne Alfredo, a chicken penne Alfredo with broccoli a couple weeks ago, and I did it all in one dish. I was like, I didn't want to have a bunch of dishes afterwards, so I managed to do it all in one dish, and it came out great. It came out amazing. So it's definitely doable. And I think any good cook would know that. I think any good cook would be able to work with the bare minimum and still make a great dish. So that's kind of why I went with a low tool weight. Also, that should be a bonus, considering that a cook is really only going to be making food. One pots are the way to go, especially when you have other things. Absolutely. And for anybody that has one and they're not utilizing it, utilize your crock pot, for Christ's sake. The crock pot is your best friend. But yeah, so any good cook should be able to do that. So justifying the low tool weight for that. If you disagree, let me know. Alchemist, though, I'm saying a medium tool weight because they require a station, because their main tools are gonna be like a full set of like I don't even remember, but I mean, we're gonna need like beakers and bottles, and they're gonna have to set things up to boil and condense and separate them through evaporation and all of that. And I'm trying to remember what all of the tools are. They'll need like a pestle and mortar. They'll need lots of stuff, and they'll actually have to get things all set up in a way that actually makes sense. Typically, all of these tools are glass, though, and glass is fairly lightweight. There's just gonna be a lot of it, and that's why I went with the medium tool weight. The glassmith, on the other hand, I went low because they shouldn't need a whole lot. They should need, like, you know, tongs or scissors, something to be able to cut molten glass. And then they need their pipe. Maybe they'll likely use those tongs to help shape the glass. And then they'll need some leathers to help protect their hands. And that's about it. And those glass blowing pipes should be fairly lightweight. They should be fairly lightweight. But they would need a station because they'd need... Would they need a station? Would you be able to blow glass off of just like a campfire? Because I'm not counting a campfire as a station. No, you wouldn't be able to off a campfire. I ask because I've melted beer bottles in campfires before. You need very specific levels of heat. Fair enough. Good to know. So yeah, then we're justified in marking glassmith as needing a station. Clothier, I said no on the station, no on the tool weight. I mean, it's... If they're actually actively making cloth, then yeah, they're gonna need a station. But generally, I think I'm just gonna say, you know what? You're not gonna need like a loom, or maybe you have a portable loom. still not going to be super heavy, because generally it's just going to be like string wood. Scythro, hey man, how's it going? Welcome. Thanks for showing up. And God, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I'm making a lot of assumptions. Angry Meatball, aluminum melts at 800 Fahrenheit, sand at 1700, and iron at 24 to 2500. Yeesh. Okay, yeah. So aluminum could melt in a campfire. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I've melted aluminum cans in a campfire. I've melted glass beer bottles in a campfire. But I think Concerned Whale is right. You'd need a more consistent heat to be able to melt glass. And I don't know if you could achieve that outside of, or I don't think you could achieve that in a campfire outside of being in the coals, because that glass only melted when it was down in the coals. As any writer will tell you, research is your best friend. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to avoid sitting on Google this entire stream. You don't know if beverage bottles are made differently from other types of glasswork. That's a good question. That's a really good question. I would say, I would imagine, I mean, glass is glass. Obviously, different types of glass are gonna function a little bit differently. But generally, if you can get glass to melt, or if you can get one type of glass to melt, you'll likely get other types of glass to melt. But this doesn't mean that glass bottle, and now that I think about it, that glass bottle didn't melt down into a perfect puddle and become completely like, it was kind of like just a mass. It was kind of just like a mass in the ashes at the bottom, so it didn't completely liquefy. It's like it just softened and then squished down on itself. They're chemically treated, and sand has chemicals introduced to it to bring down its melting temperature for glass making. Yeah. At least for modern purposes. Yeah, and that could be actually, I don't know how long they've been adding chemicals to glass to melt it down. I'd imagine for a very, very long time. But yeah, just yeah. So I think there are general consensus. I had to sit there and think where we were for a second. I think for our general consensus is that a glassmith is not going to be able to just do their work off of a campfire. They're going to need a specialized station, a crucible or a furnace or something, in order to do their work. Clothier, I'm gonna say no. Leatherworker, I don't know what tools leatherworkers have. Don't they have like, maybe not necessarily knives, but they have stuff to scrape hides, don't they? They need to sit there and clean the hides, wash the hides, all this stuff. So they should have brushes and whatnot. As long as we've been able to melt iron, we've been able to make glass. So it's a process that goes back at least 2,500, maybe 3,000 years. Yeah, Jesus. Wait, like, glass goes back so far that it would make sense that we've been adding stuff to it and not just trying to produce completely raw glass. But yeah, I don't. Let's see. Okay, I'll Google this one. Leather workers. Leather workers tools 5e. No, I just want leather workers tools. And then maybe there's a wiki article. Dump stat. No. Of course, it's all. Oh yeah, they've got alls and stuff. Maybe I'll add wiki to this. Leather crafting. Yeah. Hopefully this is the right one. The Lycurgus cup was made in the 4th century. I don't know what that is. You're making me Google a lot of stuff. Oh. Oh, neat. Oh, that's a really cool glass cage cup. Made of a dichroic glass, which shows a different color depending on whether or not light is passing through it. What? Lycurgus. I think Lycurgus. Neat. It's radioactive. Oh. Glass cup from Rome that is different colors depending on if light is shining through it or not. It's radioactive. Yeah. Neat. How'd they get I don't understand radioactive glass. I don't understand radioactive glass. I don't know what makes it radioactive. Let's see. Leather crafting, or simply leathercraft. We have dyeing, painting, carving, stamping, folding, shaping. Pyrography on leather. Ooh, neat. They didn't realize it was radioactive at the time. Ooh, that's that can't be good. Where's the like tools and stuff? Hold on. I think what I'm really curious about is Tanner's tools. I think that's what I'm worried about. Okay. Hey, this website might actually have what I need. So I see brushes, I see knives, I see. What is this? French? Oh yeah, it's in French. Neat. Just that if you added certain things to the glass, it did things. Oh, sure. Oh yeah, I've looked into that a little bit. Some elements are just naturally radioactive. Yeah, just like bananas. Yeah, I actually looked into that a little bit because an idea that I had for a character, or it was a character that I played. It was my Warforged character. He was my Warforged alchemist. / artificer kind of thing. I don't know. That campaign went off the rails, so it was all over the place. But where he came from, I had the idea that instead of using like gold coins or anything like that for money, they used glass beads colored differently because it was just supposed to be representative of money, just like most money is nowadays. It's not actually worth anything. It's just what everybody trades in. So I created a world in which my character lived in, where they used glass beads for trading instead of metal coins, because metal was valued more and had a lot more uses in that world. And then depending on the color of the beads, it was worth however much. So yeah, I've looked into that a little bit, actually. Okay, so Tanner's tools, which we're gonna include in the Leatherworker's tools. It looks like there's quite a few. Sorry, I'm waiting on somebody to come to my door. Nope, they left. And then they need, like... Yeah, Tanner and Leatherworker, yeah, I'm gonna say definitely need a station. Tool weight, I'm gonna say medium, actually, considering how many tools there are. And this is like, I'm not looking at modern stuff either. Like, these are older tools. And there's a chicken in this picture. Yeah, I'm gonna say medium, and they need a station. Mostly just for the tanning of hides and whatnot. Curing, whatever you want to call it. Oh. So yeah, this looks fine. This looks okay. Again, if anybody disagrees with anything that I've put here, let me know. We're just kind of sharing ideas. So I listed cook. Okay. So I listed cook under potions and poisons. But with food. Because I mean technically, yes. I think that's gonna tie more into the fact that in order to get a long rest, as it makes sense, it does make sense. It doesn't make sense that you could go from almost dead to just completely fine overnight, but it's also a game. It makes sense that you would also need to eat as part of your rest, as you should always be enforcing your players eating, or your players' characters eating and drinking during the games. So yeah, I think that fits. I think that fits all right. Gosh. Not too bad. Not too bad so far. I don't know. I'm kind of looking over this, and I guess this too. I wouldn't say that clothers or leatherworkers materials would be lightweight, so I haven't included it. But maybe it just kind of evens out that there's not really any pros, but there's not really any cons. Because we technically don't have to list anything. I wouldn't say there are any cons to being a cook. Or being an alchemist. Or shit, even the glassmith. I'm gonna list glassmith under clothes, but only for like third degree burns. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not doing that to my players. If you want to do that to your players, absolutely go for it. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it open to creativity, so anybody can really do what they want. I'm gonna put glassmith under clothes because we forgot something. We forgot jewelry. And it may seem minor, but I mean, if we're gonna create a game where our players are actually gonna, or if we're gonna create a campaign where the players are actually gonna be able to create their mundane items and whatnot, as well as magical items, we need to consider all possibilities, which includes jewelry. I'd list jewelry under clothes because it's not weapons, it's not armor, it's not a shield. They're not tools, they're not containers or backpacks. They're definitely something you wear, so clothes, right? I think that works. Hold on. I wanna do I want to make sure I have a explanation for the asterisks. Asterisks? I don't know. The stars. I need explanations for the stars after these. You know what? I'm not going to do that with the wood, right? I'm just going to say yeah, and it should be obvious. And I'm just going to mark jewelry right there. I don't have any others there. Nothing in here. Okay. So, do you guys disagree with any of this right now? Like any of it at all? Not that you can think of, or anything that should be added anywhere. Yeah, I think with the tool weight taken into consideration, station, that kind of covered a lot of pros and cons just in that section. This looks all right. You have to leave, folks. Hey, thanks for showing up, Angry Meatball. I always appreciate it. And hopefully I catch you next time. Whenever that is. I think Monday. I think Monday will be my next stream, because I won't be streaming tomorrow. Or at least not that I've planned. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So now we need to talk. Oh Lord, we need to talk materials. Don't we? Or am I just gonna say you get the materials? Are we just going to say you get the materials, you have the materials, now you craft the thing? We also have to consider time. Oh god, material counts. Time to produce. Concerned whale. Materials might only be a certain category, i.e. blacksmith materials, glass materials, or wood materials. True. True, I mean... But, so... I'm trying to think of how I want to say this and how I want to put this. Do we want to say, like, oh, creating a specific weapon is going to require, you know, more materials than another one? And are we going to make the players keep track of how many of each material they have? So if we were to steal from Minecraft or literally any MMO out there or anything like that, to make a iron sword, are we going to require that they have 3 iron ingots and then a piece of wood, or, you know, something? Or should we just simplify it and go, it'll take you this much time to gather all the materials you need and produce this item? I mean, no matter what, there's going to be a time requirement. I think the difference is going to be, let's see what you said. Concerned, well, materials might only be a certain category. Yeah, you would think so. A dagger would cost 1 times, whereas a longsword is like 5 times. Yeah, so we're going to be adding in a variable. We're going to be adding in a variable here. It's either going to be the number of material that they need. Like, it's either going to be the amount of material that they need, or it's going to be an increase on the time to produce the material. I don't want to do both. I think doing both is a little, although more realistic, I think doing both is a little too restrictive. Again, it's a game. We want it to play like a game. We want it to be fun. We want it to be one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, you know, there's a little bit of a sacrifice here. Not you have to sacrifice literally everything in order to get this done. Because what if we go with the material count, if we go with they need a specific amount of material, then they're going to have to roll for how much material they get when they go out and harvest whatever. So if the blacksmith has to go out and mine iron ore, and then he has to find some form of carbon, he's going to have to gather all that, and then will only ever be able to make a set of iron plate armor once he has, you know, 10 iron ingots or whatever. So he'd spend a lot of time in game glancing around and paying more attention to the environment and looking for that stuff. I say they would spend a lot more time looking around the environment, paying attention to stuff, looking for the materials that they need to craft whatever they wanted to craft. But then it puts a larger emphasis on the crafting part of it. I guess that's not terrible. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this one. Because if we don't include a material cost, we can just say, okay, well, it's going to take you this amount of time to find all the materials that you need, and then it's going to take you this amount of time to actually craft the thing. Also, a downside to specifying a specific material amount per item is going to be the fact that we have to go through and determine how much material is going to be needed for each item. Unless unless we specify based on the properties of the item. So if let's use weapons as an example. Let's say they want to create a weapon that has the light property to it. So it should be a smaller weapon, right? So they would need less material to make that weapon. So maybe crafting a dagger out of 1 ingot or 2. I guess it depends on the size of your ingots. We'll say 2 ingots to create a weapon with the light property. 4 to make one with the... I don't know. You think a generic resource might be better and a different metal would cost more or less depending on the internal hierarchy. True. Again, this tower that I'm wanting to create, this tower campaign I'm wanting to create, isn't going to have a lot of civilization. The players are going to have to fend for themselves. And that's kind of why we're here, is because it's either going to be they're going to craft everything that they need, or they're going to go find everything that they need. I feel like I'm about to fall to a feature creep and are making it more complex. True. Very true. Very true. Yeah, and that's what I don't want. I don't want it to be super complex. So yeah, let's not do like material amounts needed. Let's just make it time-based. Because then we can say, oh, it'll take you this amount of time in game to actually make this thing. And then the players can decide, okay, well, I'm going to take this amount of time throughout this rest to do that. Or, you know, if they want to... Well, if we put them in a position where they can just burn time away... to reference Starfinder again, they have a system called UPB, Universal Polymer Bases, that can be used to make anything. It just takes the time to build it if you have the proper amount. Okay. So don't even worry about what the material is. Don't even worry about how much material they have. Just say you're able to find the materials, but it's going to take you time to actually create it. Because I think them requiring an actual job to be able to craft these things is going to be a big limiter already. Yeah, something like that. You need a job to do it well. Okay. So we won't do that. We'll just go time to produce. Interesting. I don't want to make another table, but I might have to. Let's say... time requirement. Cook is going to be 1 hour. That should be the fastest producer out of them all. What did I say? Alchemist, they could probably produce something in 4 hours. I'd say same with glassmith. Time to heat up their materials, shape it, finish it. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I think rather than putting, because again, I want to leave it open to creativity. I want to leave it open to every DM that ever looks at this to go, okay, I know what I think it should be. I want it to be guidelines. So rather than saying 1 hour for 8 days, whatever, I think I'm gonna, on a scale of like 1 to 5, we'll do very high to very low. Time requirement is going to be very high for the blacksmith. Cook is going to be very low. How's that sound? Leatherworker and clothier can be medium. I'd say woodwright would probably be high. Oh no, there we go. Okay, there we go. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? So we went very high to very low and then filled in the middle based on how long roughly it compared to each other, how long it should take to make pieces. Because I'm sitting there, and as I typed in like 4 hours for the glassmith, I'm like, okay, is that going to be 4 hours for one bottle, or is that going to be 4 hours for a set of bottles, or is it going to be 4 hours for, whatever? No, I don't want to do that, because again, it's not going to take a cook an hour to cook eggs, but they're going to be able to do it very, very fast. I'm gonna get rid of the requirement word, and I'm gonna say, rather than high, I'm gonna say slow. Slow. Average. Fast. And very fast. I think that works better. Actually, I think I'm going to make leather workers slow as well. Because they'd need to, tan, cure the hide, all of that. So maybe that looks a little bit better. And you know what? It's balanced too. Yeah, that's a little more balanced too. A little easier to decipher. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want. I want stuff that's easy to understand and gives people more freedom. I don't want to dictate how people run their games. I want to provide tools that are going to help them flesh things out a bit. So, we may not even need the pros and cons columns. We could probably just get rid of those. Because I think this was more for me. You'd turn that into a traits column. We certainly could, but I mean, again, I don't want to dictate anything. So what if we did I could okay, so long creation time. We can get rid of this con because now we have a column for it. That also means that we can get rid of this one in the pros. We said affordable mats, but again, and expensive mats, but again, this isn't gonna be, at least for, oh no, you know what? We can get rid of that one. Okay. I take that back. I do wanna keep that because I can keep this table as just a generic mundane item creation. But and I'm still busy thinking about the tower campaign that I want to do, that where they're not going to be able to go out and buy the materials. They're definitely going to have to forge for them themselves. But for general use, we'll keep those. Which I guess then we should include material cost column. Unless you barter with tribes for it, you wouldn't need to worry about costs. Right. Yeah, low, medium, or high cost. Yeah, let's make a cost column. Just generic cost levels. Yes, exactly. High. Whoa, not all caps though. High. I'm gonna say high for the woodwright as well because good wood is expensive. I know that. I know that for a fact. Medium. Although clothier could be medium to high. God, it could be low as well. Oh, God. Actually, technically. Okay. Here's an issue. Here's an issue. Because now I'm thinking. I'm thinking too much about it. You can buy cheap materials. You can buy cheap materials. Or you can buy really, really expensive stuff. So I can't put down, we can't do a cost column. We can't do a cost column. Yeah, materials might affect durability. True. But I don't think we can include a cost column because it'll completely depend on what materials they want to use. So I guess better, I mean, generally, you should always assume better materials are going to be more expensive. Worse materials are going to be cheaper. Good materials will cost more than bad materials and last longer than them. Exactly. But we can't put a generic cost assumption in because at some points the cook might buy a bunch of food that costs a lot more than what the blacksmith spent on, you know, some raw materials to create something. Yeah, we can't include anything cost-wise because it's completely subjective. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't do that. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and you know what? That's fine because cost to quality line. And welcome, Hutch Million. Cost to quality line. It's one of those things. Again, we don't want to make it super complicated. I'm really trying to make sure it's not complicated. And I also want to make sure that this is something that any DM, anybody interested for any DM, any GM, anybody running any sort of tabletop game can look at it and go, okay, these are generic guidelines. I can build off of this. That's what I want everybody to do. Because in my world, blacksmith materials may not cost as much as they do in your world, or, you know, maybe my world is strictly dwarves. They've completely mined out the world. They recycle like crazy. They pull in metals from passing meteors and asteroids, and they've got tons of metal and like gold, silver, and it's worth nothing. Even the most durable stuff is worth nothing. And because of that, everybody uses it. So, I mean, amongst itself, amongst the materials themselves, yeah, there's going to be lower cost and higher cost, but it completely depends on the world it's all in. Completely depends on the world it's in. I guess the same could be said for the time thing, but generally, I think that one's going to be, accepted no matter what. So I think for the sake of simplicity, we don't include the cost. We don't talk about the cost because the cost will be determined by whoever's running this or looking at this and go, okay, this is iron's going to cost you this much. Steel's going to cost you this much. Orichalcum is going to cost you this much. Adamant is going to cost you this much. So on and so forth. And yeah, it depends on the world. If the world is typical, the cook is going to be spending a lot more on lobster than he is going to be spending on potatoes. But you never know. So yeah, we won't do that. We could do material weight since we have tool weight. But again, I think it depends on the material. Yeah, I don't know if we can do that. Yeah, I don't know if we can do that. And it complicates things. We've already got the tool weight in there. We've got the station requirement. Like, they're gonna have something. Cost will likely have to be DM to DM basis. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So we're not even gonna worry about it. We're gonna leave that up to whoever's running the game. Whoever's looking at it and wanting to run it or wanting to use this tool. Materials weight. I mean, generally, we could do a general weight across all of it. But I mean, I guess there's always going to be exceptions, isn't there? For the wood, right, there's always going to be some woods that are lighter than others. For the blacksmith, there's always going to be like mithril, which is going to be super light compared to, adamantine or any other metal. We could do material weight. I don't know if I'd want to, though. And actually, as I'm looking over it, I mean, the blacksmith is they'd have a lot of materials. We put down heavy mats as a con. But the glassmith, I think, would still have pretty heavy materials because, I mean, we're talking about sand mixed with whatever other chemicals they need. And carrying around a bag of sand is not a light thing. Bags of sand are not light. So the glassmith might be carrying around as much weight in materials as, the blacksmith at times. Depending on how much the blacksmith is carrying. So maybe we don't worry about that. Let's not worry about the material weights. We're simplifying again. Simplifying again. And you know what? I'm gonna go mats are easy to come by. For both of those, Cook and Alchemist. Again, generally, obviously, if you're adventurers, if your party is traveling through a barren wasteland or, you know, an icy tundra, they're not going to be able to. The cook's not going to be able to go out and pick a bunch of apples off a tree or anything like that. But generally, we'll say that. Maybe. I don't know. Gosh, I think that depends on the DM too. Here. Well, you know what? I'm going to get rid of these columns altogether. The more I look at them, the less I like them. Yeah, the more I look at them, the less I like them. Now that I got rid of it, I like this a lot better, actually. Because if we want to include traits, we can, but I also think traits would be better suited depending on what materials, or determining traits would be better suited for the DM that's running the game. Because then it depends on what materials are being used and so on and so forth and all of that. But I think specifically, if we're talking specifically about the jobs themselves, tools, need for a station, how long is it going to take, generally, to do it? And, you know, maybe under normal circumstances is what generally means. I'm gonna move this up here. Actually, I'm gonna move this up here. Then do that. Okay. It's not terrible. It's better than, I mean, it's better than what I had before, which was nothing. Is this something that I'm sharing? Absolutely. I mean, so, and I haven't worked on it a lot. I haven't made a lot of progress on this, but what I would like to do at some point is take a lot of this stuff that I've created, and put it up on like DM's Guild or on DriveThruRPG. As a place where everybody else can download it. And if they want to, you know, this is my full-time job. If they want to pay something, great. If not, that's fine. I don't care. If you want to take this stuff and build off of it, Hutch, please feel free to do so. If you want to share ideas, please feel free to do so. That's what these streams are about, is just getting ideas out there, sharing stuff. I'm here to help other people. I'm here to help DMs as much as I am here to be helped by them. And Hutch, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate that. So yeah, if you see anything here, let me know if you want to take a closer look at something. Honestly, I came in here today, I was like, oh, we're going to work on, or I wanted to focus on this little campaign that I am trying to build. And we ended up doing mundane item creation for the, just about the entire session. Just about this entire stream. Because it applied. It's amazing how much time we can put into one simple thing. But yeah, I've got tons of stuff. if there's anything that you're interested in looking at, let me know. I'm always happy. If you have questions or need help coming up with something, let me know. I love helping people out. Gosh. I guess that is about it, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not. It's not about it. I'm sitting here thinking. Do I put in? Should I put in another column for jewelry specifically? Like next to clothes, rather than having the asterisks for jewelry under clothes? Is anyone gonna want jewelry? That's the thing. That's the thing. If if I'm putting out this mundane item creation, I'm putting out this enchanting items stuff. And if somebody wants to make a gold ring or a pewter ring or a glass ring or something, and then they want to go and enchant it with something, absolutely. Most jewelry would likely be magical if they want to make it. Exactly. But you don't cast a spell to create a magic item. You cast a spell on an item to make it magic. So you need the materials in order to enchant a ring. At least that's my thinking. That's my thinking on it, right? Because giving them that ability, and I guess it doesn't even have to be just that. Jewelry would have to be a whole other thing, wouldn't it? Because jewelry isn't always only metal and gemstones or glass. Jewelry might fall under blacksmith since it would likely be metal. But it's not always metal. Because you've got wood beads, you've got bone necklaces, you've got, jewelry can be anything from a $10,000 diamond necklace to a string with macaroni on it. Honestly, if somebody wanted to make a macaroni necklace and then enchant it with, protection magic to make it a +1 or, a necklace of protection, I'd let them. Macaroni art scroll of wish. Exactly. And you know what? Oh no. Alright, I'm writing that one down. Oh, that's good. Macaroni art scroll of wish. Fantastic. But yeah, should jeweler be a separate thing? Because you can make jewelry out of metal, you can make jewelry out of wood, you can make jewelry out of leather, cloth, glass. Hell, you can make jewelry out of flowers. Legendary magic item they find on the first floor, but they have no idea what it does. Identify fails to denote it if it's magical. Fair. I like that. I love that macaroni art idea. Oh, see, okay. Now that okay, I'm going to do something. You can yell at me if you think it's ugly or if you disagree. Because I would love to hear your disagreements. Weird. I'm seeing shadows in my house now. Oh, God. Jeweler. There we go. Yeah. That's... Someone just has to take a chance. There's multiple. One has Finger of Death, one 7th level Fireball, the other Wish. Jeez. Or a yes, no. What do you mean, Hutch? What do you mean by or a yes, no? There should be... Or would we say that each job would be able to create jewelry within their own specific material usage? Oh no. Oh no. We could have a jeweler that could literally use any materials to create jewelry, or we could have each job be able to create jewelry with their specific materials. Or a yes no under jewelry. Oh. Yeah? Yeah? Although, again, like I said, the only one that you couldn't really create jewelry with would be the food. Unless you wanted to make a macaroni necklace. I feel like that would make more sense, have different people make different types. Yeah, let's do that, actually. Okay, let's get rid of this. No, hold on. Uh-oh. My control key came off. Let's undo that. Let's clear those out. So blacksmith would be able to create jewelry. The woodwright would be able to create jewelry. Leather worker could create jewelry. Clothier could create jewelry. Glassmith could. Maybe I'll say an alchemist can't, because I think a flower crown or something like that, it wouldn't last long. I had it in the right spot. Before I deleted jewelry. What do you mean? Because this way now we have it so blacksmith makes metal jewelry, woodwright makes wood jewelry, leather worker would make leather jewelry, clothier cloth jewelry, glassmith glass jewelry, alchemist and cook not so much. When I deleted the column, I was looking for a place to put it, and it was already in the right space. Oh, yeah. I think this is a good spot, right next to the clothes. And although it doesn't matter, where it is. It just is. You know what? Because of this, because of this, I'm gonna bump Alchemist creation time up to very fast because no, we'll just do that because they're gonna get Alchemist is gonna get way more powerful effects out of their creations than a cook would. And that's what I'm sitting here struggling with. Is like, oh, Alchemist and Cook don't do jack shit. There ain't nothing there for them. But I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Oh, and then I can get rid of this right here. Okay. Okay. This is looking a bit better. I think so. I think it's looking a bit better. And oh geez, it is 4:15 already. Wow. For the simple stuff like this, alchemists are playing, but getting into more details. Yeah, exactly. Like an alchemist could literally, like, potions and poisons is a broad category. Very, very broad. I mean, it's on the same level as like enchanter. If we put enchanter, technically we could just list enchanter under all of it. But I think the alchemist is likely going to end up functioning somewhat similar to the enchanting table. Although not quite as costly. But yeah, I think it all depends, and that might depend on the DM exactly what materials they need. So are you saying the 1 hour it normally takes to make a potion or a D4 of potions is fast? Yeah, I am, and this time, this is just a rough guidance on it, based on blacksmithing potentially taking multiple days, being the slowest. Although, I mean, technically, you could argue that sure, some things that the cook could make could take days, because yes, there's always outliers, but generally, on average, the cook is going to be able to produce stuff the fastest in, like, a matter of 10-15 minutes, all the way to the blacksmith taking multiple days or even a full day to create something. A skilled woodwright can make a longbow in a matter of hours. But it still takes hours. It could take 8 hours to do it. A clothier, if they've got the cloth, can sew something together relatively quickly. So on and so forth. It's just general guidance. So yeah, I'd say an hour to create a potion is actually pretty fast considering the effect you get. But yeah. I think this is a good start. And you guys made me create another page in my item pages. Good lord. Yeah. Lots of stuff. What is this? Oh yeah, potion descriptions, like actual physical descriptions and stuff. I don't even use this anymore. I don't remember where I found it, but I don't even use it anymore. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, I hate to do this. I really do, because I feel like we're on a good roll, but it is 1 minute to 4:20, and I have to get dressed and get ready to go. And my wife should be home soon anyway. So, and actually we've been doing this for almost 4 hours. So, this was a great stream. Fantastic. I appreciate everybody that chimed in. Concerned Whale Productions, Hutch, Million, thank you for the follow today. I think Angry Meatball is gone right now. Everybody else that hung out with me and helped out with this stuff. If you are interested, I'll put this out. If you're interested in coming around for these D&D campaign planning, idea sharing sessions, I always do these on Saturdays. I did do them Saturdays and Mondays, but I cut out the Monday and decided to just stream other stuff on Mondays. So every Saturday I will be doing these streams. I always appreciate everybody's ideas and folks coming by and hanging out with me. Thank you to all the lurkers who may or may not be listening right now. So to finish this off, gotta re-earn your points. Yes, you do, Shiz. Yes, you do. To finish off, and I'm kind of rushing through this. Let's see. Oh gosh, I don't know who to raid. Oh, you're almost at 10,000 now. Nice. Who are we gonna raid? Oh Lord, I don't know. Who's do. Anybody have any ideas on who to raid? And Shiz is back to 11,000. Let's see who's doing stuff. Let's see who's doing stuff. Let's go search in our. We'll stick to Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Oh boy. Well, we won't raid them. Let's go raid. I'm just scrolling all the way down. Let's go raid 1, 2, 3, this person. Cool. This should be good. All right, folks. So again, thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you all for sharing your ideas. I'm actually super excited about what we've created today. And I'm really looking forward to being able to maybe even implement it in my own game at some point, or I'll throw it around at my friends and see if they want to run a game with it. Again, thank you all. This was fantastic. We are gonna raid Hacked Comics. Looks like they're doing a Dungeons and Dragons stream. If not, they may be playing Legends Arceus. We'll see. But again, thank you for hanging out, folks. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I see you next time. We'll do another D&D planning stream on Saturday. And then the next time that I will be streaming will be Monday with whatever the hell I feel like it. Probably more Hollow Knight, because I'm getting like this close to beating it. This close. All right, let's go ahead and raid. Have a good night, guys.
Give us a Porygon 2, and then we can get a Porygon Z, and we can work on that Dex entry. I like